Just,
And go.
I just wanted to thank you.
Oh.
Sorry. No. So nervous. Been waiting all day for this. Just want to introduce you all to the second version of my Al Talk. Tonight we're going to be talking about a very important subject and topic that's very dear to me, and that's my friend Christian Jenkins. And one of the things I thought about, okay, yeah, so it's Christian's birthday, that's awesome, but one of the things I really want to talk about is, who is Christian? Where did he come from? How did he get his name? What's his lineage? So we're going to back the truck up tonight, and we're going to kind of go through just like a 30,000 foot view, like a bird's eye view of Christian's life, and we're going to just roll the tape back. So who is Christian? Or to whom is Christian? Christian is a male. Christian's male, born in New York, and now lives in Dubuque, Iowa. He has 3 siblings, 2 sisters, 1 brother. They're all very smart, just beautiful individuals, funny, and just great people. Christian is an inspiring botanist who looks to change the world as we know it. Christian exemplifies his own name, Christ-like, and I mean that, Christian. I just wanted to give that to you. My middle name's Christian, so we both have that in common. So we're gonna go on, moving on. As I stated when we got started here, today is February 1st, 2018, and today is Christian's birthday. So happy birthday, Christian. Thought you'd like those images. So we're going to I want this to be more inductive tonight, and one of the things, I want you to just kind of look at all these images, just look at each one of these images and just think to yourself, what do these all have in common? What about these, all are the same, or all have something in common? And feel free when you come up with an answer just to shout it out.
Those are the top 6 pictures that popped up when you typed in random pictures.
They're all pictures.
Okay. We're gonna get into what all these pictures have in common, and believe it or not,
You can just think of Nate Schutz.
they all have to do with Christian Jenkins' life. And you got to ask yourself, what in the world does the Model T and a Mexican worker and John F. Kennedy and a pair of shoes and cocaine and Civil Air Patrol all has to do with Christian Jenkins? But by the end of this presentation, you're going to know exactly why. So, the history of Christian Jenkins. Now, Christian's roots, they date all the way back to the Industrial Revolution. His great-grandfather, Ernest Jacobs, started a shoe factory in a town called Opportunity, Rhode Island. This is Ernest Jacobs. This is just an illustration of a shoe factory in Opportunity, Rhode Island.
It's a little woman.
Al, do you need some water?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
So, Ernest Jacobs was a true entrepreneur, a true American history hero, and he got started making a shoe factory in Opportunity, Rhode Island. And as you can see, Ernest Jacobs was a really just well-kept human being, and just had serious ambition. Moving right along here. Important figures early on. Alvin Casper Eglinton was one of the first shoe designers for Christian Jacobs when the factory started up. And Christian, Ernest, kind of backing up here. Patrick Fleming was a tech supervisor who was in charge of pretty basic operations. It could easily be replicated. Very replaceable individual. We're just gonna, I just wanted to get you kind of a backstory. A lot of the research I did led led to these two guys. Jose Santana. You're probably asking yourself, who's working at this factory? Who is Ernest Jacobs' go-to guys? Jose, he worked at Ernest Factory from 1914 to 1915 until he decided he didn't want to make shoes anymore. Jose decided to move back south to find his family and start a new life away from Opportunity, Rhode Island. Most scholars say that Ernest and Jose had a friendly, mutual understanding when Jose left. He never wore shoes again after leaving Ernest's family. So that's Jose. He worked at Ernest Jacobs' factory. So what happened to Pablo Santana? Well, Jose Santana ended up living... That's a typo there. It should be Jose Santana. I got confused. Jose Santana ended up living a happy life and had a family that had success in their lineage. So a lot of Jose Santana's family members did really well. And so this is Jose's grandson, Steve. He actually ended up doing business with Pablo Escobar. So, you know, when I kind of did all this research, I'm like, wow, Ernest Jacobs, what other kind of ties does he have? Finding out that one of the guys that worked at Ernest Jacobs' factory actually had ties with Pablo Escobar. It was pretty fascinating. So this is Ernest. This is Ernest during the Great Depression. This was an image that I had to pull from Ancestry.com. It actually cost a good amount of money to get in this presentation. So this is Ernest. You can see it's the Great Depression. Everyone's really sad. Ernest is just happy to be alive. Ernest plowed through the Great Depression due to his knowledgeable investment in Model T cars designed by Henry Ford. So there you can see him there. Everybody's stressed out. Ernest knows exactly what So Dewey Jacobs. So it went Ernest, and then Dewey was his son. If you can see here, Dewey Jacobs followed in his father Ernest's success by getting involved with the mafia and became a mobster until he lived in Brooklyn near Steve Rogers. Do you know Steve Rogers? He actually ended up becoming Captain America. So, again, just crazy ties. Pablo Escobar, Captain America, all these guys pertaining to Ernest Jacobs that all together come back to Christian Jacobs, or Christian Jenkins. Today. Stuart Jacobs. So when Ernest Dewey Stuart. Stuart Jacobs was the son of Dewey and took his mobster skills to be a part of the Secret Service for John F. Kennedy. And you can see him here. This is just another rare image that I had to pull out of the archives from Ancestry.com of the Jacobs family. There you see Stuart there, just in this picture with John F. Kennedy. So. Name change. Jacobs to Jenkins. And I know there's still confusion today. I remember when I first met Christian, in my phone it said Christian Jacobs because there's so much confusion. Is it Jenkins? Is it Jacobs? I had to do a lot of research to figure out why he changed his name from Jacobs to Jenkins. And actually it is due to the assassination of JFK, the Jacobs family decided to change their name from Jacobs to Jenkins to no longer have ties with the horrible incident in U.S. history, that being the assassination. He's crazy, very interesting. Nelson Jenkins. So now we went Ernest, Dewey, Stuart, Nelson. So Nelson Jenkins. Nelson Jenkins decided to have a name change, and he was really the guy that instigated the name change. And he decided it wasn't enough just to be removed from the incident and to move away from New York. So they moved to Dubuque, Iowa, and that's where he and Susie had some really great children. And I can't say enough about the Jenkins family and everything they do here in Dubuque. So Christian Jenkins in the modern era. So we finally got an image of Christian here. These are just some fun facts about Christian. He has followed his lineage in investing in stocks. He currently owns 43 Bitcoin shares. A lot of this information I'm not sure if I should even disclose, but I think I'm going to anyways. He's a strong advocate for the Civil Air Patrol. has always desired to release helpful chemicals from airplanes. He plans on calling it Happy Trails. He hopes to start his own kombucha tea brewing company. Just some of the minor aspirations of Christian. And he hopes to live in Iceland and raise a family and start a goat farm. And he drives a Kia Rio. Thank you.